Hi everyone, I'm Lori Pearson, your dessert host. And for the quick tip today, we're talking about cookies. Now, what cook doesn't have a favorite cookie recipe that they go back to time and time again? Cookies have got to be one of the simplest dessert recipes to make up and one of the biggest hits around my house for sure. But sometimes you have a real craving for your favorite cookie, but you don't have time to make up a batch. So that's why we're going to talk about how to freeze cookies. I love to have a batch of homemade cookies frozen, ready to go in the freezer already. I pull those out, either wrap up the ones you need for lunch tomorrow, and by the time you're ready to eat them, they're nice and thawed and ready to go, or I just pull out the whole bag and then I'm ready for our trip to the zoo the next day or off to a picnic. But what's better than homemade cookies? Warm homemade cookies, of course. So to make warm homemade cookies in a hurry, I freeze my cookie dough too. Now with my chocolate chip cookie dough, I have a drop cookie batter. So to freeze that, I'm going to drop them in individual servings onto some wax paper and then individually quick freeze them and place them in a resealable plastic bag. If I had a heavier dough that was more of a rolled cookie, I would just roll that up, wrap it in some parchment or some wax paper, then wrap that in plastic wrap or maybe aluminum foil. That goes into the freezer and then you thaw it when you're ready to cut up your cookies and to make your rolled cookies. But for drop cookies, I find this way to be nice and simple to get them into the oven quickly. Just about any cookie dough will freeze beautifully, either a drop cookie or a rolled cookie. The only thing you have to watch for is something that's maybe more delicately based, like an egg white dough or a meringue, or something that's a little more delicate, isn't going to freeze as well, and those you're going to have to put in the time to make fresh each and every time. But when it comes to most of your favorite cookie recipes, it's just as easy to make up a huge batch of cookie dough, put some in the freezer and save it for later, as it is to make up your regular size batch. So I'm going to put these individual ones into the freezer and I'll show you what I have. Now I pull out my individually frozen ones. I'm going to just take them right out of their plastic bag and straight onto my cookie sheet, which I've lined with parchment paper. These are going to go into the oven at 375 for just maybe slightly longer than they would have originally. Just going to keep an eye on them and we'll see them come out. Here we have our batch of cookies fresh out of the oven and straight out of the freezer. How easy is that? I would love to hear your cookie quick tips or any other dessert quick tips that you'd like to share. I would love to see your dessert recipes and photos flooding into the realwomenofphiladelphia.ca website. This is your chance to win $100 in the recipe competition and be included in the community cookbook. You've still got time, so send your recipes and your photos in, and I can't wait to see what you've been baking up in your kitchen.